Thank you so much for chatting to RT10 today.
You are welcome.
It captures all the magic and the heart and the charm of the original, but you've injected a new lease of life in the sense that we find out more about Cinderella's parents. We didn't know any of that before. And as well, we find out why the stepmother is the way that she is. So is this something that you intentionally wanted to get across from the very beginning?
It was important from the beginning, and it was part of what Chris Weitz' script was really starting to do from the word go. In the 1950 animated film, it's a 72-minute film, and quite a lot of that film is singing, and quite a lot of it is mouse and cat action. So I realized there was really quite a lot of room to flesh out the characters, so as not to have the characters be one-note qualities that come in and always strike the same kind of attitude. And when you had characters played by people like Kate Blanchett, you knew that you had an acting skill that meant that she would come in and she would relish these costumes, this entrance, and having a cat on a leash and enormous hats, and she would devour the household. But that she could also really play the woman who gets wounded by overhearing that her husband talks to his daughter about how much they miss his wife, her mother. Hard, I think, plenty of patchwork families today who understand the difficulties of that kind of thing, and so it felt that sort of human dimension was really going to make a difference to how we understood it, at the same time as still allowing us plenty of time to have the spectacle and the fun and the magic and the glamour.
Now, what I thought was really cool was the fact that Cinderella got to actually see the prince and not just meet him at the ball.
Yeah.
It's fair to say that she's a bit more self-assured and independent than the Cinderella that we previously have
Oh,
known.
for sure, yeah, for sure. And this was absolutely, really the centre of how we were making the movie. Was to, although still in her quiet way, she's an intelligent girl. She thinks, she looks, listens, and considers, but she ain't stupid. No one should ever confuse her kindness with weakness. And she has courage, and she is kind. And it's great that she meets the prince, in a very sort of energized way. They're having an argument basically about whether it's right to hunt animals or not. And I think that gives her a really strong point of view. That becomes more important to her than previous versions where really it's only about a prince. She wants to meet her friend again at the ball, is what we understand. She's not in the marriage race. She hasn't come for that sort of thing. So it makes her a very different kind of creature. But still, it's subtle and it's quiet, and she's still modest in a very powerful sense of the word. In as much as she thinks about others. There's a generosity of spirit there, but she's nobody's fool.
What did he call you?
Never mind what they call me.
I'm sorry.
It's not your doing.
Nor yours either, I'll bet. I hope to see you again, miss.
And I you.
What I thought was quite interesting was you never really hear to the prince being referred to as charming, or the stepsisters being referred to as the ugly stepsisters.
Yeah.
Was this intentional?
Yeah, because we wanted the prince to be. He has a name, Kit. Prince Charming is already a sort of cipher. He just becomes a series of symbols. The ugly stepsisters, again, sort of defy you to consider them in any other way. Whereas, in fact, we've got two very beautiful girls in Holiday Granger and Sophie McShearer, but they're when they're unattractive, it's usually because of their acquisitiveness and their competition and their kind of cruelty. But they're not in themselves evil people, I don't think. But they are recognizable and they're human. So again, that the human dimension was where we felt we'd have the audience recognizing inside this classical world their own lives or experiences that they may have in their own lives.
So you've gone on to cast Richard and Lily in Romeo and Juliet. When did you decide that you wanted them to be part of that project?
Well, I think with Shakespeare plays or any big kind of theatrical pieces where rather like Cinderella itself, actually, where the success of the piece really depends centrally on who you cast and how right they are for it. The teaming of two characters like that is really, really crucial. So the sort of the chemistry and the mutual respect between Richard and Lily, the passion and the intelligence, all of that I think is something that will benefit the play enormously. And technically they're very prepared and beyond that, it's just an instinct that it would be a fascinating thing to see. But they're both terrific young actors, so on any account, if I hadn't asked them, other people would be.
And finally, was there any teeny tiny part of you that wanted to be in the film at all?
Not really. Occasionally I did fancy having a dance, I must say. I watched
And the white leggings.
Sorry, yeah. So I think however, the process of getting into extraordinary clothes was maybe going to have me up a bit earlier in the morning than I absolutely wanted to.
Listen, thank you so much for chatting to our T10. We look forward to seeing you in Dublin.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.